Ellie stood frozen in the middle of JFK's Terminal 4, her boots glued to the polished floor as her mother's words sliced through her like a winter gust. "You're too lesbian, Ellie. I can't do this anymore." The sting of abandonment burned hotter than the tears she refused to let fall. At 25, she'd faced rejection before high school whispers, church sermons, her father's silence, but nothing prepared her for her mother's ultimatum. Change or be left behind. Her small backpack, stuffed with a few clothes and a crumpled photo of her childhood dog, felt heavier than ever. Around her the airport buzzed with travelers, their voices a dull roar. But Ellie was alone, stranded in a sea of strangers with nowhere to go. Her phone vibrated in her pocket, but she ignored it. It was probably her mom, calling to lecture her again about fixing herself. Ellie's short chestnut hair fell into her eyes as she slumped onto a bench, her freckled face pale under the fluorescent lights. She'd cut her hair last month, a defiant chop to embrace who she was, but now it felt like a neon sign screaming her difference. She zipped up her leather jacket, the one her mom hated, and stared at the floor, trying to block out the world. That's when she heard Ida soft whimper. Ellie glanced up to see a scruffy mutt, its fur a patchwork of brown and black, nudging her knee with a wet nose. Its soulful eyes locked onto hers, and for a moment, the chaos of the airport faded. The dog wore a faded collar with a tag that read "Lucky." No owner in sight. Ellie reached out, hesitant, and scratched behind its ears. "Lost like me, huh?" she whispered. "Actually, he's mine," a voice said, warm and steady. Ellie looked up to meet the gaze of a woman about her age, maybe a little older, standing a few feet away. She had long wavy black hair tied loosely, and her brown eyes held a kindness that made Ellie's chest ache. She wore a red flannel shirt tucked into jeans, her boots scuffed but sturdy. "I'm Sam," she said, crouching to pet the dog. "And this is Lucky. He's got a knack for finding people who need him." Ellie managed a weak smile. "Guess I look like I need something." Her voice cracked, betraying the weight of the day. Sam tilted her head, studying Ellie with a quiet intensity. "You look like you could use a coffee, or maybe something stronger. My treat." There was no pity in her tone, just an invitation, like she saw Ellie's pain but chose to meet it with warmth. Ellie hesitated. She didn't trust easily, not after today, not after years of hiding parts of herself. But Lucky nudged her hand again, and Sam's smile felt like a lifeline. "Okay," Ellie said finally. "Coffee sounds good." They walked to a small airport cafe, Lucky trotting between them. Over steaming mugs, Ellie found herself talking first about small things like her love for old vinyl records, then deeper. She told Sam about her mom's ultimatum, the fight that started when Ellie came out 2 years ago, and the final blow today when her mom drove her to the airport and left her with nothing but a one-way ticket to nowhere. Sam listened, her eyes never leaving Ellie's, her hand resting close on the table but not touching, like she knew Ellie needed space. "I'm sorry," Sam said when Ellie finished. "That's heavy. But you're still here. That's something." Ellie shrugged, staring into her coffee. "Doesn't feel like much." "It is," Sam insisted, her voice firm but kind. "You're still you, even if she can't see it. And you've got Lucky now, at least for today." The dog, curled up by their feet, thumped his tail. Ellie laughed, a small broken sound. "He's sweet. Where'd you find him?" Sam's smile faltered just for a second. "He found me, actually. A couple of years ago I was in a rough spot. Lucky showed up one day, no tags back then, just a stray who wouldn't leave me alone. I kept him, and he's been my shadow ever since." There was a story there Ellie could tell, but Sam didn't elaborate. Instead, she leaned forward. "So what's your plan? You got a place to crash?" Ellie's stomach twisted. She hadn't thought that far. Her mom's words had been clear. No home, no family, not unless she fixed herself. "I don't know," she admitted. "I was supposed to fly to Chicago, but I missed the flight. I don't even know why I'm here." Sam nodded, like she understood more than Ellie was saying. "Well, you're not alone. Not right now. And Lucky's a pretty good judge of character." She grinned, and Ellie felt a flicker of warmth, like the first crack of sunlight after a storm. They talked until the cafe started to empty, the hours slipping by unnoticed. Sam shared bits of her life growing up in a small town in upstate New York, her love for fixing old cars, her dream of opening a garage someday. Ellie found herself opening up too, about her passion for photography, how she'd always wanted to capture the world through her lens, but never had the courage to pursue it. With every word, the weight on her chest lightened, if only a little. As they left the cafe, Sam paused. "Look, I'm heading to Brooklyn. I've got a couch and Lucky doesn't mind sharing. No pressure, but you're welcome to crash for the night." Ellie's instinct was to say Nasht learned to guard herself, to expect betrayal. But Sam's offer felt different, like a hand extended across a chasm. Lucky looked up at her, tail wagging, and Ellie made a choice. "Okay," she said. "Just for tonight." They took the AirTran to Sam's beat-up pickup truck in the parking lot. Lucky hopped into the back, and Ellie slid into the passenger seat, her backpack clutched tight. The city lights blurred past as they drove, and for the first time that day, Ellie felt like she could breathe. Sam's apartment was small but cozy, a one-bedroom in a walk-up with exposed brick walls and a sagging couch covered in dog hair. Photos of vintage cars and scenic landscapes lined the walls, and a guitar leaned against a corner. "Make yourself at home," Sam said, tossing her keys onto a cluttered counter. "I'll grab some blankets." Ellie sat on the couch, Lucky curling up beside her. She ran her fingers through his fur, grateful for his quiet comfort. But as she glanced at Sam humming softly while pulling sheets from a closet, a question nagged at her. Why was Sam being so kind? And why did Lucky's tag, which she'd noticed earlier, have a faint scratch mark, like something had been etched out? She didn't ask. Not yet. But as she settled in for the night, the dog's warmth against her side and Sam's presence in the next room, Ellie felt a spark of something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. Ellie woke to the smell of coffee and the sound of Lucky's tail thumping against the couch. Sunlight streamed through a cracked window, casting stripes across the small apartment. For a moment, she forgot where she was, the ache of yesterday dulled by the unfamiliar comfort of Sam's space. Then it hit her mom's voice, the airport, the weight of being left behind. She sat up, rubbing her eyes, and saw Sam in the tiny kitchen, pouring coffee into mismatched mugs. "Morning," Sam said, her voice soft but bright. "Sleep okay?" Ellie nodded, though her neck ached from the couch. "Better than I expected. Thanks for letting me stay." Sam handed her a mug, her fingers brushing Ellie's for a split second. The touch sent a jolt through Ellie, unexpected and warm. "No problem," Sam said. "Lucky likes you, so you're good in my book." The dog, sprawled across the floor, lifted his head at his name. Ellie smiled, sipping the coffee. It was strong, just how she liked it. "He's a good dog," she said, her voice steadier than she felt. They ate breakfast toast and scrambled eggs, simple but warm, and talked about nothing heavy. Sam told stories about Lucky's antics, like the time he stole a neighbor's burger at a barbecue. Ellie laughed, the sound foreign to her own ears. She hadn't laughed in days, maybe weeks. But with Sam, it felt easy, like slipping into a favorite song. After breakfast, Sam suggested a walk. "Lucky needs his exercise, and you look like you could use some air." Ellie agreed, pulling on her jacket. They headed to a nearby park, the autumn leaves crunching under their boots. Brooklyn was alive with joggers, kids on scooters, and vendors selling hot cider. Lucky trotted ahead, sniffing every tree, his leash loose in Sam's hand. As they walked, Ellie found herself watching Sam. The way she moved, confident but not cocky, her shoulders relaxed, felt grounding. Sam caught her staring and raised an eyebrow. "What? Got something on my face?" Ellie blushed, shaking her head. "No, just. You're easy to be around." "I'm not used to that." Sam's smile softened. "Good. You deserve easy right now." The words landed heavier than Sam probably meant them to. Ellie looked away, her throat tight. She wanted to believe it, but years of hiding who she was off being told she was wrong made trust feel like a gamble. Still, Sam's presence, and Lucky's too, chipped away at her walls. They stopped by a pond, where Lucky chased a squirrel until it darted up a tree. Sam laughed, tossing a stick for him to fetch. "So," she said, glancing at Ellie, "what's next for you? You said you missed your flight. Got a plan?" Ellie's stomach nodded. She hadn't thought beyond surviving yesterday. "I don't know," she admitted. "I was supposed to start over in Chicago, but I don't even know if I want that anymore. I just know I can't go back." Sam nodded, her expression unreadable. "Starting over's tough. But sometimes it's the only way. There was a weight to her words, a hint of her own story that Ellie didn't push for. Instead, she asked, "What about you? You seem settled. Happy." Sam shrugged, tossing another stick for Lucky. "I'm getting there. Took a while. I left home at 19, haven't looked back. Built my own life here, Lucky, and a few good people." Ellie wanted to ask more, but a shout interrupted them. A kid on a bike zoomed by, nearly clipping Lucky. Sam grabbed his collar, pulling him close. "Easy, bud," she murmured. Ellie noticed the tag again, the faint scratch mark catching the light. Curiosity tugged at her, but she held back. They spent the day together, wandering Brooklyn streets, stopping at a food truck for tacos. Sam teased Ellie about her love for spicy food, and Ellie fired back about Sam's obsession with classic rock. It felt normal, almost too normal, like a life Ellie had only dreamed of. But every so often her mom's words crept in sharp and cold. She pushed them down, focusing on Sam's laugh, on Lucky's wagging tail. That evening, back at the apartment, Sam pulled out her guitar. She played a soft melody, her fingers deft on the strings. Ellie sat cross-legged on the couch, mesmerized. "You're good," she said when Sam finished. "Thanks," Sam replied, setting the guitar down. "Used to play for my ex. She loved it." Ellie caught the past tense, the flicker of pain in Sam's eyes. "What happened?" she asked, then winced. "Sorry, that's personal." Sam shook her head. "It's okay. She didn't stick around. Wanted something I couldn't give her." Her voice was steady, but there was a crack beneath it. Ellie recognized the kind of hurt that lingers. "I get it," Ellie said quietly. "My ex, she said I was too much. Too loud to me." She laughed bitterly. "Guess my mom agreed." Sam leaned forward, her elbows on her knees. "They're wrong. You're not too much. You're just you. And that's enough." The words hit Ellie like a wave. She wanted to believe them, wanted to hold on to this moment, Sam's eyes on hers, Lucky snoring softly, the world outside fading away. But doubt lingered, and so did the mystery of Lucky's tag. What was Sam not saying? And why did Ellie feel like this moment was more than chance? The next morning, Ellie woke to find Sam already gone. A note on the counter. "At the garage. Back by noon. Lucky's with me. Coffee's in the pot." Ellie smiled, tracing the messy handwriting. She poured a cup, the warmth grounding her, but the quiet of the apartment let her thoughts creep in. What was she doing here? Crashing with a stranger, no plan, no home. Yet Sam's couch, Lucky's presence, felt safer than her mom's house ever had. She wandered the apartment, noticing details she'd missed, the worn edges of Sam's car magazines, a photo of her and Lucky at a lake, Sam's grin wide and unguarded. Ellie's fingers brushed the guitar, and she wondered about the ex Sam mentioned. Who had she been? Why did Sam's voice catch when she spoke of her? By noon, Sam returned, Lucky bounding in behind her. "Morning, sleepyhead," Sam teased, her flannel sleeves rolled up, a smudge of grease on her cheek. "Wanna see where I work?" Ellie hesitated, then nodded. She needed to move to keep the doubts at bay. They drove to a small garage in Red Hook, its sign reading Marty's Auto. Inside, the air smelled of oil and metal. Sam introduced Ellie to Marty, a gruff older man who called Sam Kid and tossed her a wrench. Lucky curled up in a corner, chewing a rawhide bone. Ellie watched Sam work on a beat-up Chevy, her hands steady as she tightened bolts. There was a rhythm to it, a confidence that made Ellie's chest tighten. "You're good at this," she said, leaning against a workbench. Sam grinned, wiping her hands on a rag. "Cars are easier than people. They don't judge." She paused, glancing at Ellie. "You ever think about what you'd do if you could start over?" Ellie's throat tightened. "All the time. I wanted to be a photographer. Travel, capture real moments. But life got in the way." Sam nodded. "Life does that. But you're here now. That's a start." They spent the afternoon at the garage, Ellie handing Sam tools, their banter light but charged. Every brush of their hands, every shared glance, felt like a step toward something Ellie couldn't name. She caught herself staring at Sam's lips, then looked away, her face hot. Sam didn't seem to notice her, maybe she did, and chose not to push. That night, they ordered pizza and sat on the floor, Lucky sprawled between them. Sam pulled out a photo album, showing Ellie pictures of her old cars, her hometown, a younger Sam with shorter hair and a guarded smile. "This was me at 19, Sam said, pointing to a photo of her in a leather jacket, standing by a motorcycle. "Thought I was tough." "You were," Ellie said, laughing. "Still are." Sam's eyes softened. "Maybe. Took a lot to get here, though." Ellie wanted to ask about the rough spot Sam mentioned, the scratch on Lucky's tag. But before she could, Sam's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, her face tightening, then set it down. "Old friend," she said, but her tone was clipped. Ellie didn't push. Instead, she shared her own stories, her first camera. A clunky thing her dad gave her before he stopped talking to her. The time she snuck into a concert to snap photos of the crowd. Sam listened, her eyes bright, and when Ellie finished, Sam said, "You should do it. Photography. You light up when you talk about it." Ellie's heart skipped. "Maybe," she said, but the idea felt possible for the first time. The next day, Sam took Ellie to a flea market. They wandered through stalls of vintage clothes and records, Lucky trailing behind. Ellie found a used Polaroid camera. Its lens scratched but functional. "Try it," Sam urged, handing her a few dollars. Ellie snapped a photo of Sam and Lucky, the Polaroid whirring as it developed. The image was imperfect, Sam's hair blowing in the wind, Lucky mid-yawn, but it was real. Ellie's chest ached with something like joy. That night, as they sat on the roof of Sam's building, the city sprawling below, Ellie felt a pull. Sam's shoulder was close, their hands almost touching. "Why are you doing this?" Ellie asked suddenly. "Helping me. You don't even know me." Sam looked at her, the city lights reflecting in her eyes. "Because I've been where you are. Lost, scared, feeling like the world's against you. Someone helped me once. I'm paying it forward." Ellie's breath caught. She wanted to ask about that someone, about the pain in Sam's voice, but Sam leaned closer, her voice soft. "And because I like you, Ellie. You're real." The air between them crackled. Ellie's heart pounded, her fears warring with the warmth in Sam's gaze. She leaned in, their lips inches apart, but then Lucky barked, breaking the moment. They laughed, the tension easing, but the spark lingered. As they headed back inside, Ellie noticed Lucky's tag again. The scratch mark was clearer now, an initial, maybe a J. She didn't ask, but the question burned brighter. What was Sam hiding? And why did Ellie feel like her heart was already too far gone? The days blurred into a rhythm Ellie hadn't known she needed. Mornings at the garage, afternoons exploring Brooklyn with Sam and Lucky, nights talking until the city quieted. Ellie's backpack stayed in the corner of Sam's apartment, untouched, as if unpacking meant admitting she had nowhere else to go. But with every shared laugh, every glance that lingered too long, Ellie felt herself falling into Sam, into this life, into a version of herself she'd buried long ago. One evening, Sam took Ellie to a local open mic night at a dimly lit bar. The air smelled of beer and anticipation. Sam signed up to play, and when she took the stage, guitar in hand, Ellie's breath caught. Sam's voice was raw, soulful, singing about love and loss in a way that felt like it was just for her. The crowd clapped, but Ellie barely noticed, her eyes locked on Sam, her heart pounding with something she was scared to name. After they walked home, Lucky trotting ahead. The night was crisp, the stars faint above the city glow. "You were amazing," Ellie said, her voice quiet. "I didn't know you could sing like that." Sam shrugged, but her smile was shy. "Haven't done it in a while." "Felt good, though." Ellie wanted to say Moretto asked about the song, the pain woven into its lyrics, but her phone buzzed, shattering the moment. It was her mom. Ellie's thumb hovered over the screen, her stomach twisting. She hadn't answered since the airport, but the call felt like a tether pulling her back to that day. "You okay?" Sam asked, noticing her tension. Ellie nodded, silencing the phone. "It's my mom. I can't talk to her." "Not yet." Sam didn't push, but her hand brushed Ellie's arm, a quiet anchor. They walked in silence, the weight of unspoken words heavy between them. Back at the apartment, Ellie sat on the couch, Lucky's head in her lap. She scratched his ears, her eyes drifting to his tag again. The scratched J was unmistakable now. She couldn't ignore it anymore. "Sam," she said, her voice low. "What's with Lucky's tag? There's something scratched out." "An initial, maybe?" Sam froze, her back to Ellie as she poured water into a glass. The silence stretched, thick and heavy. Finally she turned, her face guarded. It's nothing. Just old stuff. Ellie's chest tightened. It doesn't feel like nothing. You've been so open, but this. You're holding back. I just want to understand. Sam set the glass down hard. It's not about you, Ellie. It's complicated. Then tell me, Ellie pressed, her voice soft but firm. You've seen me at my worst. Let me see you. Sam's jaw clenched, her eyes distant. After a long moment, she sat beside Ellie, her hands twisting together. Okay, she said. But it's not a happy story. She told Ellie about Jess, her ex, the one who'd left. They'd met when Sam was 19, both running from small-town judgment. Jess was vibrant, fearless, and Sam fell hard. They got lucky together. A stray they found shivering in an alley. The tag had Jess's initial, a promise of forever. But Jess changed, grew distant, started using. Sam tried to save her, but Jess walked out, leaving Sam and Lucky behind. The scratch was Sam's attempt to erase the pain, but it never really worked. I kept the tag, Sam said, her voice barely above a whisper. Because Lucky's all I have left of her. And because I don't want to forget, even if it hurts. Ellie's heart ached, for Sam's loss and for the trust it took to share it. She reached for Sam's hand, their fingers intertwining. I'm sorry, she said. And thank you for telling me. Sam squeezed her hand, her eyes searching Ellie's. I didn't want to scare you off. You've got enough going on. You're not scaring me, Ellie said, her voice steady. You're making me want to stay. The words hung between them, raw and real. Sam's breath hitched, and for a moment they just looked at each other, the air electric. Then Sam leaned in, her lips brushing Ellie's, tentative at first, then deeper. The kiss was soft, urgent, a release of everything they'd held back. Lucky whined, nudging their knees, and they broke apart, laughing, breathless. But the moment didn't last. Ellie's phone buzzed again, her mom's name flashing. This time she answered, her voice shaking. What do you want? Her mom's voice was cold. You need to come home, Ellie. We can fix this. You don't have to be this way. Ellie's grip tightened on the phone. This is who I am. If you can't accept that, we're done. She hung up, her hands trembling, but Sam's hand on her back steadied her. You okay? Sam asked. Ellie nodded, tears in her eyes. I think I am. The kiss changed everything. Ellie felt it in the way she woke each morning. The way Sam's smile made her heart race. The way Lucky's presence tethered them together. But her mom's call lingered, a shadow she couldn't shake. She stayed with Sam, days turning into a week, then 2. They built a rhythm, coffee in the mornings, walks with Lucky, nights tangled in each other's stories. Ellie started taking photos again, capturing Sam's laugh, Lucky's quirks, the city's pulse. Each click of the shutter felt like reclaiming a piece of herself. One afternoon at the garage, Ellie showed Sam her Polaroids. These are incredible, Sam said, holding one of her and Lucky against the sunset. You've got a gift, Ellie. Ellie blushed. I'm rusty, but feels good. Like I'm remembering who I am. Sam's eyes softened. You're finding her. And she's pretty amazing. That night they kissed again, slower, deeper, on the couch with Lucky sprawled nearby. It wasn't just passion, it was trust. A promise neither spoke but both felt. Ellie wanted to stay in this moment forever. But life had other plans. The next day a letter arrived, forwarded from Ellie's old address. It was from her mom, a single page of neat handwriting. I'm sorry, it began, but the words that followed were the same. Come home, change, be someone else. Ellie's hand shook as she read it, the hurt as fresh as the day at the airport. She showed it to Sam, who read it silently, her jaw tight. She doesn't get it, Sam said, tossing the letter onto the table. She's asking you to be someone you're not. Ellie nodded, tears falling. I know, but she's my mom. I keep hoping she'll change. Sam took her hand. Maybe she will. But you don't have to wait for her to live your life. The words sank in, heavy but true. Ellie spent the night thinking, Lucky curled against her, Sam's steady breathing in the next room. By morning she knew what she needed to do. She found Sam in the kitchen, flipping pancakes. I'm staying, Ellie said, her voice firm. Here in New York. With you if you'll have me. I want to chase photography, build something real. I'm done running. Sam's face lit up, a grin spreading wide. You sure? More than I've ever been, Ellie said, stepping closer. They kissed, the pancakes burning in the background, Lucky barking in approval. Ellie rented a tiny studio apartment nearby. Using savings she tucked away, she started freelancing, snapping photos for local businesses, her portfolio growing with every shot. Sam helped, introducing her to clients at the garage, cheering her on. They weren't perfect. Ellie's doubts crept in, and Sam's past sometimes shadowed her, but they faced it together, with Lucky as their constant. One day at the park, Ellie noticed Lucky's tag again. The scratched J was still there, but it didn't haunt her anymore. She knelt, scratching his ears. You're our secret keeper, aren't you? She whispered. Lucky licked her face and Sam laughed, pulling Ellie to her feet. They walked hand in hand, the city alive around them. Ellie's mom never called again, but the silence didn't break her. She had Sam, Lucky, and a life she was building one frame at a time. The dog who found her held a secreta past that shaped Sam, a love that led them to each other. And in that, Ellie found her own truth. She was enough just as she was. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to get notifications about next videos.